And we're going to be diving into a topic which is all about unlocking your own knowledge inside and how do you digitize that, and then getting into some top tips and takeaways and tools. And then we will be getting you ready for what's coming next week. So, Kent, are we ready to get fired up and get started? And hello world. Hello, everybody on all these different channels. It's super cool.
We had one channel lag a little bit, so I'm going to say again, today's main topic.
Then we're going to be diving into a topic which is...
Okay.
That was our digital selves jumping on another...
There's another main. Today's main topic is all about being a knowledge broker and digitizing your skills, thinking, and expertise. Kyle's going to lead us into that shortly. Before we go there, when we kick off these shows, Kyle and I always do our one big observation for the week behind us. Kyle, why don't you kick us off today? I've got one that's fun, and I know you've got one for us today too.
Absolutely. All right, so biggest observation, biggest revelation of the week so far has been seeing how many people are building more intricate home streaming offices. I've been looking on LinkedIn, we've been looking on Instagram, looking on the different social channels. People are now getting way more confident and comfortable with actually kind of pulling back the curtain and starting to demonstrate that they are digitizing their businesses, they're digitizing themselves, they are fully ready to rock and roll, and that they have got a setup. Now, it is also what I would imagine is a learning is that there seems to be something that I would start calling digital currency. And I don't mean crypto. What I mean is that there's some currency in starting to demonstrate that you're actually starting to digitize and that you're getting on the digital curve. The fact that people are posting about these elaborate home offices, some have some pretty significant setups, big, like full wall green screens, multiple light options. Others are actually boasting, hey, look at me. I'm outside at a lake. My computer's on a bunch of books, in boxes, and I've got some makeshift lamp as my light. But look what I'm able to pull off in that space. So that's the big observation and revelation for me. It all excites me. It all fires me up. It means that because it is so in line with our digitization and unlocking digital potential. And I love this idea about this kind of digital currency now that if you're demonstrating you kind of got this thing down, I think that's starting to add some credibility to an individual. So your thoughts, Kent?
You make me change mine a little bit, but I'm still going to do what I want to do. Good luck trying to get that person who's been taking all their calls successfully from the lake house to come back to the office eventually. You're right. Good luck with that. And San Francisco Bay Area just basically passed an ordinance or a law. I'm not sure which one, mandating offices of a specific size to make their workers work from home 60% of the time.
Wow.
Okay, so think about that. When this is over, that will still be there. That solves traffic in the Bay Area in one shot. Holy cow. Now, back to what I was going to share, which is much less heavy, is this. So these are AirPod Pros. And Apple did something pretty amazing. They released a firmware update to the AirPod Pros and an update to iOS version 14, and then the follow-on 14.01. This opened up something they call spatial audio. Okay, if you have not yet experienced this, you will turn off your giant 65-inch HD awesome TV and turn on your tiny little phone and put on your AirPods to watch the next Marvel Avengers movie just because you have spatial audio. It is insane. It is mind-blowing. Very few apps support it so far, but Disney Plus is one of them. So now I'm going back and I'm having a nice time. So I've been watching The Mandalorian and going back and watching some of the Avengers with spatial audio on. I mean, seriously, like my only regret is that this screen's not bigger and it doesn't work on my TV or my computer monitor yet. But anyway,
does it work on iPad? Does it work on iPads?
Yeah, for sure it will. As long as you can do iOS 14. So it has to be a new enough model to do
so. The thing to do is upgrade. So is that get the latest upgrade to iOS 14, and then do you have to do anything?
No, just open it
on the phone.
Open it like this and hold it close to your phone, and you'll get what you need. So that's my super nerd gear update of the week and observation. But spatial audio is crazy. Now I have another place where I've encountered spatial audio in the last week, but I'm going to save that for a live demo, Kyle. And I haven't had a chance to show you yet, so I'm not going to entirely spring it on you today. But in a future episode, we're gonna do that. It's really cool, and it's by somebody we both know. So let's get into the main topic.
Yeah, but taking this show to the next level, let's make sure for all of you that are watching on your phones or watching on your iPads, upgrade to iOS 14, and then Kent and I will do something with sound so that you can enjoy spatial audio here at your favorite show, Digitized Live, Unlock Your Digital Potential. Yep. We'll have to put something going on in the background.
Oh, this is going to be something our audience can participate in. You're going to love this. It's really cool. Awesome. I already tested it.
Awesome. Well, the other thing, just as you were speaking about some of those shifts and changes, I wanted to plant one other seed. Was the other thing that I'm noticing, which isn't fully related to digital, but it is actually fully related to digitizing, is the amount of people that are moving. We've got friends now that are changing states. They've moved out of town, like far out of town. They've had kids and stuff, but because they were proximity to having to go into their very, fancy offices in San Francisco and having to pay those crazy rents and deal with all those commutes and all that crazy cost of schooling and daycare and stuff, has started to take, as soon as the larger companies started planting the seed that for the next few years specifically, they were going to be moving fully remote, we have noticed so many more people moving and moving further out, which is really, really interesting, 2-3 hours from the city. So that was just one other thing to plant, which is I'm very interesting to see that trend increase, which is that what does that actually mean for organizations? What does that mean for talent recruitment? What does that mean for teams getting together? So I'd imagine in one of our future shows, I'd love to dig deep as this all rolls out, like we've done in Top Tips in season 1 and 2, which please go back to the YouTube channel. There's a whole bunch of amazing content that we've been putting out on a weekly basis. I think there's more than 65 different episodes of sound bites of different things that you guys can check out, which is a ton of content. But it'll be very interesting to start talking about how do you actually successfully manage remote teams? How do you start to allow people the flexibility and autonomy and freedom to live the lives they want to do while still coming together as an organization to solve big things? So that was just one other thing that, as you were saying, it was like, oh, that's right. I've noticed a lot of people moving and having this beautiful lifestyle, but still delivering really great work, really great value.
Yeah, I told you the new geography is time zones. So
new geographies, time zones. Interesting. We're going to have to trademark that in some case, Kent. You heard it here first. All right, so today's main topic. This is an interesting one. I think it actually kind of links to what we were just talking about. But I think with the increase of noticing that people are fully empowering themselves and enhancing themselves with digital technology, we've talked a lot about home studio setups. We've talked about what like the most simplest rig is that you need in order to get you empowered to start to be able to deliver work. The next thing to think about, and we talked about this in a couple of sessions ago, was Neuralink and how we're uploading our brains and everything to the net and how we're all of that got us thinking here around knowledge brokering, meaning like we're all becoming knowledge brokers inside of us. Like what's one of the number one reasons why companies suffer when talent leaves is because the ideas that talent had inside the company is stuck on a hard drive somewhere or stuck in their heads. And when they move on, there's nothing to do. It's very hard to get access back to that knowledge. Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting here is that we're in a very interesting phase in space and time where we are documenting everything. Now we've looked at that, like what's the perfect picture to post, or what's the great video, or what's the curated life that I want to project out into the world. But there's something else that's inside of you that is super important. Your skill, your knowledge, your experience, your passion, your hobbies, your approach to the way you do your work, or your approach to like whether you like to cook, whether you like to build technical robots, whether you like to, go and travel the world and document those things, whatever those things are. If you're into health and fitness, and Kent's been doing a lot to help the health and fitness industry with some of the hacks that are on the show. Knowledge brokering, the next level, I think for all of us, where you can make better revenue, where you can be more independent, where you can stream freely from around the world, wherever you want to, is starting to understand what's inside of you, What's the skill that you have that the world could really use? And how do you get that out of your mind, put it into a format, digitize that in a way that you start to create access to the rest of the world? I just wanted to kick that off. And this, Ken, this is around, we were talking offline around how our kids are starting YouTube channels and like their businesses, and they under 12 years old, and friends are pivoting businesses during the pandemic to realize that their in-person or their physical things can work just as effectively online or in their space, but they've had to rethink how they bring that information out to the world. And so we'd love to go deeper on a couple things that for us, we've been pretty lucky that we've been in some way knowledge brokering, harnessing what we've done in person and in real life events, putting it into digital structures, putting it out in the form of master classes, communities, workshops, worksheets, assets, talks, all those kinds of things that when you put it out into the world, it lives on. It starts to continually create value. I just wanted to plant a seed there and dig in with you as well. Like when you think of knowledge brokering, when you think of getting what's in your mind out into the world, what comes to mind for you?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the way that everybody's somewhat reinventing themselves right now. And it doesn't really seem to matter very much what the skill is, what the niche is, how small, how big. In fact, the smaller niche skills seem to do a lot better than the bigger ones. And we can talk a little bit separately about how you deliver this skill versus how you package it. And so I'll use an example of a guy whose YouTube channel I subscribe to because I wanted to improve my pizza making skills. So me as a consumer, and I found this guy who was literally running these almost daily shows. Now we could talk about frequency and volume and format as well, because these things matter very much to how quickly you can build your audience. And this guy was literally standing in his restaurant sharing everything he knew about making pizza. And I had never run across anybody. I'd run across people who have cooking shows and channels, and they were all like, give me a recipe, tell me this was the best way to make my dough and all this stuff. And it was fine. But no, this guy actually owned a restaurant. He was actually in his own kitchen, and he was actually showing us with his own commercial equipment how all the secrets of making pizza. And his YouTube channel was just exploding and has continued to. And when you see that, you realize, well, in fact, he ended up selling his restaurant, going to be a full-time YouTuber, and moving from wherever he was down in LA to Italy. Okay, and now he runs his channel from a little studio he built off the side of his father's home in Italy. Okay, his audience is still there. He took his audience with him to Italy, and now he continues. And now he's moved more from this is how you do it in a restaurant to here's an experiment I'm going to run. What if I mix this dough making recipe with this dough making recipe? What happens? Is it better? Is it worse? What about this oven and that oven? So he's getting lots of sponsors, right, for ovens. He's going to have 1,000 ovens soon, you know. So what I'm suggesting here is that in this particular use case, this person was an absolute master at making pizza, specifically Neapolitan style pizza, originally on the channel, which is what I was looking for and how I found him. And now he has switched that into being his sole career. He goes primarily on YouTube. His channel got big enough to introduce merch, right? So he's got merchandise, he's got community. It's crazy. He's built an entire business. And he's still cooking pizza, but he's not cooking pizza in his restaurant and serving 400 pizzas a day. He's cooking a pizza to show other people how to do it, and all of those people are probably making 4 million pizzas a day. I made that number up, I don't know. But it's bigger, and it's exponentially bigger, there's no question.
So I love this. If you looked at like any one of those cooking shows, like any one of his episodes, how many people generally watch an episode? Are you able to say? Like, do you know offhand?
Let me look it up. Give me some comfort while I
because here's where my mind is going, is that it's how we rethink. Like, the idea that when we think about serving pizza, as you said, like he was cooking pizza for a certain amount of people, like in a restaurant, like, you think of in a restaurant, there's a certain amount of head counts, right? There's like how many tables you can serve. I can do 38, I can do 30, what they call covers. I can do 38 covers. Like I've got seating for 15 tables, and I've got two, or if you've got a big place, I've got seating for a couple hundred, and I can run a breakfast, lunch, dinner, or lunch and dinner. So I'm going to do like maybe 400 covers in a night.
Yep.
What's super interesting here is that, yes, he may have just made one pizza or a couple pizzas, but how much pizza did he really serve?
So here it is, and you're going to love this too, because this is the same subject. I'll take it one step further. So I posted a link to his channel. The gentleman's name is Vito Iacopelli, and now he has Pizza TV. And he just launched his pizza masterclass, which is not cheap, by the way, but probably worth every dime. Right? So he's now monetizing further based on the knowledge by repackaging it. Repackaging knowledge he effectively gave away for free on YouTube, but in a much more consumable, easy to use, and direct connection to the content creator through the masterclass. And you and I have talked a lot about masterclasses. So, we all know that. Now,
I'm running 3 of them today.
He has 325,000 subscribers. 4 days ago, he launched a video that had 26,000 views. A week ago, 43. These are pretty typical, is in that 50 to 100K. But then every now and then he has a blowout, right? That's hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah. And I'm sure he's adjusting his strategies daily based on that. So it's a real amazing story. Someday maybe we'll get to talk to this guy. I don't know. That would be amazing. He's quite a character. His channel's fun. So, and we have certainly improved our pizza at home based on some of.
So look at that. I mean, knowledge brokering, right? Somebody who enjoys doing pizza, doing it for themselves, now suddenly serving knowledge and pizzas to hundreds and thousands of people all over the world. And as you said, probably has in some way inspired millions of pizzas.
That's right.
Millions of the making of pizzas. This is the moment. The exponential. Now, not everybody's going to have the same level of success, but even if you take our channel, we've been doing this for a few months. We're up to 140 something subscribers. We were looking at the analytics. We've had thousands of hours of programming format, like some of the stuff watched. We've had people, connect with us. We've had, thousands and thousands of views collectively. I'm not sure if you totaled up all the views. It's probably, close to 10,000 something, people have watched the content across all the different videos that we've had, which is pretty good. But if you think about that, this is knowledge brokering. We're trying to bring what we know to the world in as much structure as we can with the best way we know how in this moment. And then we learn. Every week we learn, every season we learn. But for yourselves, for those of you that are watching right now, what is a skill? What is a hobby? What is a passion? What is something that you are so good at in your work or in what you do in life that you would like to get out to the world? What is something that you are really passionate about that if you had to put the cameras on you, if you had to document it, it will allow you to live even deeper in your passion, like that pizza maker, as Ken just said. He moved to Italy, took it with him, got himself a studio. He just gets to do that all day, doing the things that he loves, around his family, in a destination that he loves, serving millions of human beings. Like, how powerful is that? So the future of knowledge brokering, I think, is we're adjusting to creating these environments in our home offices where we've got our lights and our green screens, and we're adjusting to the fast changing technology and the ease and the efficiency of the technology. Now is the time to get your stuff out there. Start documenting your life. Start documenting your skills. Start putting your thought leadership out there. Start figuring out what those passions and hobbies are. And the one way to build confidence, continuing to create mastery for yourself in your life, the way to continue building your expertise is to teach. It's one thing that Kent will always say: teach, 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 teach. Now, the way you teach, if you don't want to be a teacher, just document, put it out there. It's teaching regardless. Just, hey, I made it this way. I watch my kids on doing their TikTok stuff now, and they're cooking while they're doing their cooking show. And it's like, oh, I used this recipe. I got this recipe, but I didn't really like these ingredients. So I flipped it. Here's how that came out. Watch how that rose. Look how I decorated. Blah, blah, blah. It's out. They're adjusting. They're putting the process out there, and they're starting to get really amazing feedback. Like big bakeries and adults who are baking contact or get in touch and say, amazing, I tried it, it worked. So just planting that seed.
I got to break in two things. Number one, think about the democratization that just happened there. You've got a professional baker, maybe went to culinary school, often offering advice for nothing to, in this case, I know it's your daughter. And then you've got your daughter posting recipes that professional baker's like, oh, I like that idea, and I'm going to make that. And would you make some of those for me? Can I order them? Your 12-year-old is going to out-earn all of us soon. So, it's wonderful. And on the data side, I can't give you on a fly a full aggregate because we multi-stream, right? So I have to go out and add it all up, and there's not actually a super easy way to do that. But just on YouTube, if I look at the lifetime of this channel, we've had 22 episodes, live episodes. They average around 30 to 35 minutes a piece. So let's just call it 12 hours of live programming. That 12 hours of live programming has been seen 7,100 times, and other humans have spent 464 hours of their time collectively watching that 12 hours of programming that we did live. And we have about 146 subscribers, but in most cases on YouTube, your subscriber numbers are substantially suppressed relative to the number of actual watches and views you get, because not everybody likes to subscribe to YouTube channels for various reasons. So by the way, please do like and subscribe. It helps us a lot. We're trying to get to 1,000, and share. And it feels really far away right now. But it affords us the ability to share the messages even further with the new tools that open up when you hit that milestone. So please do like, subscribe, share. But whatever makes you comfortable, watch it where you like it. That's more important. So but yeah, when you think about those numbers, Kyle, how many things do you do historically, right? Not just right now during a pandemic, but historically. And we're a little atypical, I get that, but do most people do? Let me say it like that. They get leverage of, what is that? That's 1 to, I'm going to do the math. But it'd be 464 of 38 to 1.
Wow.
I don't do a lot every day. I mean, I do some things. I'm very fortunate. I'm involved in some projects that have that and even better numbers in terms of, we'll call it leverage for impact. I just made that up. I like it. But it is awesome. And this is why it's worth investing. This is why it's worth sometimes making a fool of yourself when you're getting the ball rolling. But, I love it. And so on this topic of being or becoming a knowledge broker, digitizing your skills. We used pizza today as an example, and sharing your thinking. Like, how do I think about things? That's inspiring to people, and expertise is earned over time, right? The mythical 10,000 hours. I say mythical because I'm not 100% convinced, but the 10,000 hours thing,
more of a metaphor.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The metaphor that just came to mind, I was thinking about, like, around our community, as we walk around, there's these makeshift libraries. So people have these little boxes and they put books out, and you can borrow the books. You can never bring them back. You can put other books there. But it's really cool in our community that people have set up these sort of like little reading centers. Hey, it's outside their house. Please take these for free. Take a book, use it, pass it on to somebody else, bring it back in. The metaphor there is very interesting. When you put something out there, someone will come along and grab onto it. It's never when you expect. Like, maybe that person stands outside their house and go, free book, free book, free book, free book, right? And then people walk past and they drive past and they're busy and they're rushing and they don't have their stuff. But if you leave it out there, like, it's amazing how much churn there is for people that do host. As I said, oh yeah, new books are popping up all the time. And like, I don't see it. I don't really, track what's going on. I just know it happens. Knowledge brokering during this time is quite similar to that, which is you put things out. Like, for us, we shoot these episodes. We've done some offline episodes. We create extra offline content, but we put it up into this channel. Then people find the channel, they discover it. Luckily, YouTube also advertises it. They put us up, they link our videos to something else based on watches and views, which is why it's always great. Subscribe, share, link, because it gets our content out if you find this valuable, or even just find the discussions valuable. If it's getting you making an epiphany, if it's sparking something for you. But the thing is that it just cycles, it just goes, it does its work, and we don't have to sit hawking on it all the time. And this is why, get your knowledge out. Someone will find it.
One of our viewers right now, gentleman I know well, Craig. Hi out there, Craig. Shout out to Craig Terblanche in South Africa, Kyle.
I love
something
it, yeah.
you know. Kyle. Yep, Kyle's from South
Africa.
Africa. He just said, and I'll just read it exactly, to quote Craig, "Each one, teach one is my new mantra for democratizing entrepreneurship."
Oh, I love that. Craig, I love that concept, democratizing entrepreneurship. Like, how do we democratize it? Democratizing it, making it available for everybody, right? Teach one, each one teach one. Like, I think that's interesting. What's interesting there, if you take the pizza analogy or even Craig's analogy, and Craig, I hope that you are extracting your knowledge and you're creating a channel or you're putting it out in some format.
I know Craig is.
That just allows people to get your perspective. Because here's the other thing. There are some very famous people writing famous books, producing famous channels who are very notorious around the world. They're just thought leaders that have really figured out how to get to the top of their game, but they're also have figured out their message in a simple way that it really resonates with folk. It doesn't mean that's the only way to do something. It doesn't mean that maybe for me, I won't resonate with that author, but I would resonate with a different one. We never know who we're going to inspire. So the best thing to do is just get it out there, and you'll start to see that someone's going to find you and you are going to start impacting lives, as Craig just said.
Craig says, thanks for the shout out. And I'm going to say thank you, Craig. This is a live show. One of the reasons we do this live is so we can have live audience interaction. And we're getting more and more of that episode to episode, and we enjoy it very, very much. We'll change the whole episode if that's what it takes when we have a good group of people out there that want to have a chat. But we need to kind of wrap this one up, Kyle. So, in summary, do you want to offer any last one sentencey kind of last thoughts about today's topic of being a knowledge broker, digitizing your skills, thinking and expertise? If you could offer one word of advice to anybody, actually, let's do it like that, Kyle. And I'm not going to retort this one. This is how we're closing out, folks. It's our summary. Before I ask you the question to take us out, I'll tell you a little something about it. I think we're going to have a special episode next week if we can pull it off. Kyle and I both have young, they're not adults yet, young, I hate to call them children, I don't even know, I guess they're still children. We have young ones in our homes, they're about the same age, they're both doing things on places like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and we're going to maybe bring them on. We're looking at the possibility that we still have to ask them if they're game, but if we can do that and bring them on, we'll show you what some of the really young folks out there, which are now currently called Generation Alpha, I've heard, onto the show. But so that's what's going to happen next week. I think this has been an amazing discussion. So Kyle, please take us out with that one piece of advice that you would give to our viewers.
Yeah, it's going to be in the form of a game. And I want you to play this game for yourself.
Okay.
If you've got the time, if anybody watching this today or in a year from now or in 2 years from now, try this game. It's called the Temp game. Now, the Temp game is this. Imagine there's your life, but you have to take a break from your life for a day or a week. But you have to have a temporary person, say where you call up a temp agency. Oh, Ken's taking a break today. I need a temp to stand in for Kent to do everything that Kent does. How would you start documenting what you do, why you do it, and the impact of what you do in your community? That's the temp, because you want to leave that as a list of to-dos or a list of how-to-dos for the temporary person that's going to come and fill in your space and your role while you're not there. That game, the Temp game, is an amazing way for you to fast-track your knowledge brokering. If you just temp yourself, okay, I do this thing, I deliver this knowledge, I have this skill, I this is how I run my day, this is how I feed into my passions and hobbies. But if I couldn't do it today and I was going to leave it for somebody else to pick up and do, what would I say? What would I share? What would I teach? What would be important? What would be my prioritized steps? What would be the knowledge that I'd want to leave with them so that they get to do the best job of being me or following on what I do to the best of ability, so there's no break in chain. That would be the advice. Try the temp game on yourself, because when you do the temp game on yourself, it actually helps you reveal what's inside of you, the knowledge you have to share. That is, and then put that out there into the world and let everybody grab onto it and go off and do something with it that they choose to do when they discover it. That would be my big one tip.
If you do that and you want to talk about it, we'll be back here same time, same day next week, and let us know. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Kyle.
remember, digitize live, unlock your digital potential. Inside of each and every one of us is a digital version of ourselves waiting to get expressed, now more so than ever. Let's come together. Let's get this knowledge out there. Let's start transforming and elevating this world together. Kent, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Kyle. A pleasure as always. Thank you very much.